You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Audrey Queen, aka the Queen of Darkness, lead singer from Bullets to the Heart, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to welcome Audrey Queen and Draven DC of Bullet to the Heart, and they have released their new EP entitled Death, Oddities, and Romance, available now on all streaming services. Also, check out singles Black Widow and Revenant. That's out right now. So, welcome to the podcast, and how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, doing great. So how did this band come together? Because I know you guys had to be in other bands and knew somebody from this and started something. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so her and I were actually in a couple projects before this, and we had a like an album show for that band. And at the album show, we lost our bassist and our guitarist. They quit that day for whatever reason.
Jeez.
So at that show, Benischek, our guitarist, was one of the openers. And we just kind of, she said it on the microphone, like, hey, we lost two of these guys. We need two members. And Brian joined. We jammed together. And he goes, hey, my buddy Tom plays bass. We could get a whole band going. So we wrote some music, practiced. And then in 2017, we changed our name and we became Bullet to the Heart.
How crappy is that, though? The day of a release show, we're all ready to go. Let's go. And then they quit. So, what?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't good people, so.
yeah, for sure. And if you're listening to this podcast, shame on you. Everybody knows your name now. Shame. Everybody knows your name. All right, so how's it been working with Pavement Entertainment? Because they work with some good talent out there right now.
Good, yeah. They're helping out with promotion and stuff. So Revenant's almost at 100K. So we're really thankful for that. It's being really well received on Spotify and other streaming services. We have some tours set up through them that we are waiting to still do, but I mean, I've heard good things and can't wait to just get the whole ball rolling, you know?
Yeah.
So for the both of you, how cool is it to see that hard work pay off, to see where you guys came from, to see Revenant, at over 100,000 views? I mean, I would freak out if my podcast got a view like that on one of the interviews. I'd be a little happy fat man in a cheesecake factory. You leave the door closed and go. Leave me be. Yeah.
I mean, it feels surreal. I mean, like you said, from where we started to where we are now, it just shows like all of our hard work and all of our fans that we have gathered. They're just really working hard for us as well, making sure that our stuff gets out there and it gets shared around. So it just feels so surreal, and it feels really good, actually.
Yeah, because even songs like Black Widow, which were pretty well received, it's only at about 70,000, which, again, we were still grateful for, because my goal for that one was 50K. Yeah. So, I mean, we still were meeting goals for some of the older singles. But to hit 100K, I guess, so quickly is kind of like, wow. I mean, this song, though, is Revenant specifically, is being just well received all the way around. It's hit the most in radio. It's been the fastest growing song on Spotify. So it seems like the retention for that one's just overall better.
Draven, you're gonna be my hype man. You know that, man. You're gonna be my hype guy. That's what you're gonna be. You know, we're gonna talk about to get these views up on this podcast. Get it, you know.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
Numbers, you
know? Let's go. But how cool is that, though, to see people liking a song that you guys have written as a local band, to get that many views? And think about it, a long time ago, this would never been possible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the old stuff, like the 80s stuff. But, I mean, the internet, you could reach people without traveling the world and doing the radio shows and doing, like, I guess the physical labor. You know, you could just throw it on the internet and you never know who's going to watch it, and you never know what could happen. You know, stuff could blow up overnight. It could take a week, take a year. You know, you never know.
I even said to the bands that came on here, you know, I have a lot of local underground bands, and I like that because I see their passion. I see that they're really working at this. But when the pandemic or plandemic was going on, I said it was an even playing field for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't take advantage of that, to everybody out there listening, you surely missed out. And I still think, you know, bands should do the live stream and do their live shows on here. Do a live show on YouTube or something like that to get out there. You don't have to be in front of people. You know, sell tickets to them and watch you online. That's another way.
Yeah, the whole thing, and that showed during COVID, is adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know for us, you know, we went through a small period where everybody was depressed and miserable, and we had some other personal stuff going on in the band, and, you know, it kind of hurt us a little bit. But then after a couple months, we started writing music, which is now this record. And we did one live stream. We did a listening party, which went really well. We did like donations for merchandise and stuff. There's a lot of different stuff that we did, but you got to adapt. You know, you got to use the tools that are out there.
Look, you know, I'm a huge metal and music fan. I don't care if it's good music, it's good music. I like it. I don't care if it's bluegrass, country, whatever. I dig it.
Yeah.
But look at Dropkick Murphys. I'm a big punk guy. Dropkick Murphys did 2 live streams. One from some studio, and the other one was at freaking Fenway Park in Boston.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the things were limitless on what you could have done during that time.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to use the property anyway, you know, if you could live stream it with some cameras and microphones, you know.
Yeah, Seven Dust, I believe, did one. Lamb of God did one. Motionless in White. I mean,
I did watch the Lamb of God and the Motionless.
Those are good.
The Motionless one was really good.
Yeah, I think it was the one at Pinhurst, maybe. Might not be
at the prison.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I suggest anybody who's in the paranormal go to Pinhurst because you will get something. Trust me, I know. Trust me.
She's into that stuff, man.
I am.
Oh.
I'm into it.
Oh, I got a team and everything. What's the nucleus that keeps this band right now together and moving forward right along? What's that nucleus that says, you know, that's we got the right people involved?
Well, I guess the first step was first the fans. Well, and then we actually live together as a band. We live in a band house, so we really wanted to stick together so that we could make content and we could stream whenever we wanted and write music. So, and it's just like we're family at this point. Like, we're not friends anymore. We've been together. They Tom and Brian came to our wedding. They stood up in our wedding, and we just, you know, we're family members, and we loved each other so much we moved in, and that's just what's really keeping us going. And just the fans, our bloodline coming together and helping us all the time. We can't get enough of each other. Like, honestly, we're just like so tight knit together.
I thought this was very cool on what you guys did, and a lot of bands have honestly strayed away from this, and it very, very, very much upsets me. You guys did a special acoustic EP release show.
Yes, we did.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So how was the reaction from the fans, and especially getting them out after COVID and everything?
Oh, that was honestly, that was awesome. It was, I get very like anxiety ridden when we like headline and do big moves, because I'm always afraid of like, oh, we're going to put on this show and nobody's going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, I get worried about that stupid stuff. Yeah. And I mean, we headlined House of Blues and brought out like 300 or 400 people. So it's like, I don't know why I worry about it, but you know, we did the same thing with the acoustic. I mean, the ticket price was a little expensive. It was $50, and it got you a bag of coffee, which is our recipe, a CD, and the ticket in. And if you did the VIP, it came with food. So, you know, we were a little like, I don't know if people are going to pay that, you know, but it's going to support the band and the project, and it's going to cover the food costs and the room costs and all that stuff. So it's like, I was a little nervous, but we ended up selling the venue out.
Cool.
So we were like, oh, well, this kind of worked out then, you know, but it was very like a tight, just like more togetherness feel rather than like a traditional show, which was really beautiful. It was very vulnerable. We talked about each individual song, and you know, by the end of it, Post-Mortem is one of the more sad, depressing hit home tracks, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room.
Wow.
You know, it's like people like I think felt that vulnerability and felt like the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this music, and it was kind of nice, you know, to like kind of leave it all on the table and be like, here's where we're at, you know.
How does it feel though to you when you see that reaction from a song that you guys wrote that may not even been intended to what they grasped onto and took from it? What's your reaction when you see that, man? How does that hit you all?
It's so impactful. I mean, it really like touches like down to the soul when especially for me, when I write something and someone comes up to me and tells me how it impacted them. It's like, that's the whole reason why I'm doing what I do, because I want people to not feel alone and feel like they have somebody in this world with them that has experienced something that they have. And that no matter what, if you just keep going and you keep living out your dream, one day you're going to get it. Like if you work hard and you want it, you will get it. It is not impossible. And even if you do get really high and you don't necessarily like reach the biggest tipping point, you know, one of my favorite sayings is reach for you know, the universe, because or reach for the sun. If you don't hit the sun, you'll go amongst the stars and you'll find your family there.
Yeah, because I know what music did for me growing up, and I just kind of want to be that for somebody.
Absolutely.
You know, that's like the most important thing. So it's really cool when like you see that. Like it's really hard to see that through a computer. I know we were just talking about how the technology is good, but it's cool to see that stuff in person.
Yeah.
Where when someone's like, oh, like I like this because of that, or it made me feel, or reminds me of somebody, or you know, something. I mean, we met somebody a couple shows ago where we heard we played a Post-Mortem early, and it reminded him of his fiance who just died.
Oh,
and it's like, oh wow, because like we know what the song for us means, being together, you know, and it's like for him to get that on a first run through, on a first take, it was kind of like, oh wow, like maybe there's a point to this, you know, like it's not just about one thing, it could be about anything.
How excited are you to finally have this EP out and be done with it and move on? So I know new to us, but very old to you guys.
Yeah, 2021 is when we recorded it. Like I said, during COVID, 22 just didn't feel right. Touring wasn't 100% back. We only did one tour. I think we only played like, besides the tour, we only did like 4 shows locally or something.
Yeah.
So like it just didn't feel right, and stuff was still like getting worked on. We weren't sure on the mood, but yeah, to finally have it be out, I'm glad we waited, because I mean now it's getting recognition, it's getting plays, it's getting, you know, conversations, and it's like that's what we wanted. And 2022, man, was kind of a rough year for us. So we weren't ready to come back yet. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't on the table, a lot of, you know, just freshly moved in, trying to figure out the living situation, trying to figure out money and all the BS that comes with living life. So to wait till now, I feel like it just felt right. And now we're going to, you know, go on tour, and we're going to promote the crap out of this. I'm not sure if I could swear, but, you know, just really cool stuff. So.
Do you feel the EP had to come out swinging and make a statement for the band after the pandemic? I mean, do you feel like this had to come out and knock everybody out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is some of the best music creatively and thematically that we have written. And I didn't want to just drop it and move on. I want to drop it. I want to milk it. We're going to constantly share it all the way to the end of the year. This is the big release for 2023. We already have new stuff cooking up, but this is all you're going to get this year, and it's going to come at you really hard.
Yep.
So Black Widow was the first song released from this, and that was a while back. Was that just something to stay irrelevant, or is that just a little piece of the pie that you want to get out there for everybody to listen to?
So, you know, it's a little bit of both. It's probably not the first single choice, in my opinion. But it was the heavier song off of it, and it made a statement with like the double breakdown, the Black Widow character killing these creepy bar guys, and we kind of wanted to come out, do something a little weird, a little different, a little heavier, come out swinging, bam, right in the face. And we decided to do a video, and we put it out there to see if we're still relevant after the pandemic. Like, are people gonna want more music? Is this gonna be something that's new and exciting? And we dropped it, like I said, it got 50,000 views in the time that we wanted to. So we were like, okay, we're getting more traffic than ever now. This is probably good. Let's maybe talk about releasing the collection of songs that we have. And we took us forever to come up with a name and a concept, but we worked all of 2022, beginning of 2023 to figure that out. And we decided to do another video for Revenant, which is probably the first single choice, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, with the release of that, I think it's doing really well.
Yeah, with the streams it's got and plays, oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, for sure. Is it a collaborative effort, or does one person usually take the lead for writing?
So it's kind of a mix of Brian and I mainly.
Yeah.
He comes up with like a riff or a concept for a riff. I'll kind of workshop it with him. We'll lay down drums, and then at that point we'll give it to her. And then if you want to take over.
Yeah. And so then at that point, when they give me basically guitar and drums, they're like, hey, here's the rough idea. What do you think? Because they don't fully write it until I kind of approve it. So if I approve it, they'll then, if I get a little something going on, they'll then go back and make a structure for it. And then they'll give it back to me, and I'll think of what does the song want me to write about? And at that point I'll come up with a title. So I'll tell them, hey, this is the title of the song. So Black Widow. And then I kind of get a feel of what lyrics I want. And then
style though.
Yeah, style as well.
I remember,
that's true.
Yeah, Black Widow is a full guitar, thrash riff. And then because of what she wrote, we then threw the bass on it instead of the guitar for the verses.
And took it out. And then I go okay, guys, I have a rough vocal idea. Let's lay it down. And then we'll kind of sit down and workshop vocals and lyrics and see what fits and what doesn't fit.
Thanks to Pavement, I got to listen to this, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not knocking anybody in the band whatsoever when I say this. I'm just saying, look, the structure, like you were talking about, was great. The guitar playing is absolutely great.
Thank you.
This is you could tell it was well worked on. I'll say that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's we like Draven stated, we really sat down. We were like, let's really work on this, because we had released Transcendence, and we were like, what is next? How can we top ourselves? So we're like, we really have to sit down. And even now we're sitting down and talking about how can we top ourselves with Oddities Romance. So we're in talks of that right now, because you just go. How can you top yourself?
Yeah. And this wasn't phoned in, and again, I'm not knocking any band out there who does this, but you can tell when there's heart in it, and you can tell when it's just phoned in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can feel that, and this was good. I was like, man, they did a really good job on this. So kudos to you all on this for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your favorite one off of it?
Dude, I think Black Widow.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. I think Black Widow, and maybe my second runner-up is going to have to be Death by the Sea.
That's my favorite.
That's been the fan favorite out of the non-singles so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody should have one coming.
But here's the thing, though. Are there any sleepers on this EP? And I know it's just 4 or 5 tracks on here, but is there one that should be a single that's not going to be that should be?
That's a tough one, because originally they were all supposed to be singles, and we weren't going to do a collaborative CD. It was just going to be single. We were going to drop one every 2 or 3 months, and that was going to be it. Each one was supposed to have a video, and then we realized they all have these things in common. All the songs are written about death. They have a weird oddity character, something macabre, and then it had some kind of romantic factor. So we were kind of like, let's throw them on. Let's just kind of do it. And then for budgeting, we decided to just do the 2 videos for now. I'd probably say Graveyard. Graveyard to me sounds a little more pop rocky, but that could probably be a radio single if it was marketed that way.
Yeah.
Sure. Was there a song for this EP that totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to? Was there one that changed many times or no?
Yeah, it's Graveyard Lovers, actually. I mean, Revenant too, though. Revenant was kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Revenant at first was like our least favorite song. It was very basic. It didn't have that lead guitar on it, so it just had that da-da, 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 and like that was the song. And then, you know, Brian's messing around one day and he does all this lead stuff, and we were like, oh wow, you know, like what's that? He's like, I don't know, I'm just messing around, man. And we're like, no, that's got to be in the song. But I think Graveyard changed and evolved the most. It started out, it was a 7-string like metalcore song, and then he played that one chord that's in the chorus, and we completely bend and changed the song around that chord just because he liked playing that chord. And it became like a poppier, upbeat, you know, pop rock song.
I know these are your babies, but any track standing out more to the both of you than any right now on this EP? Possibly.
Yeah, I'd say Death by the Sea.
Yeah.
In terms of creativity and theme, and then probably Revenant. Like you hear Revenant, and you know the vibe. You know it's a vibe. It's not supposed to be overly heavy or supposed to be punky or it sits in a specific genre. It's supposed to be just dark and vampiric and kind of different. But I think Death by the Sea is that same level of energy.
Yeah.
Any songs that did not make this EP, we're going to see on another EP album, or maybe just a standalone single down the road, possibly.
I think I'm going to make that post, I think next week. The songs that didn't make it are actually going to be up on our Patreon.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Yeah.
We're going to post the demo versions, maybe even the instrumentals, because we're not ready for vocals. But yeah, we're going to post that on our Patreon. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we want to do. You know, it's kind of everything's up in the air right now. You know, we're kind of just kind of vibing, getting. Man, I'm screwing up here. But doing that, going off of the high, off of the new EP. So I think we're going to sit on that high for a while, and then we're going to come back and figure out what needs to come back, or if we're just going to toss stuff out.
Yeah.
But if not, I mean, you can check out our Patreon. We have tons of demos and stuff that hasn't even been announced, teased, or that was or wasn't off of this EP.
Yeah.
Is the track listing placement important for your EPs and album releases?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm a big flow guy. I like to flow a certain way. I like to tell a story, in a specific manner. And I feel like the chapters, as we're calling it on this EP, I wanted the first chapter to be Black Widow. I think it's the most linear. It's the most simple. It's also the most heaviest. I wanted you to, kind of get that get the intensity right off the bat. And I think it ends with Postmortem because I think it's a beautiful ending, and it's probably also the most sad. And I like ending on the sad note.
Did you guys produce this EP, or was it done out of in the studio possibly?
So we were involved in the producing process, but it was also produced by Justin Oftencamp of Miss May I.
How was it working with him on this? Did he get something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten, possibly?
Absolutely. First of all, he is an absolute sweetheart. He's like just a nerdy guy from Ohio. But I mean, he's in Miss May I. So, in my opinion, they're on that legend status. I mean, Miss May I paved the way for metalcore bands back in 2006. So that was like a huge honor. I'm a huge metalcore fan. So I remember listening to their music in Saints Row, the video game, and seeing them with Avenged Sevenfold and other big bands. But yeah, I mean, he's just a nerdy production guy, and him and Brian got along really well. And that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, I mean, for Black Widow, I know I'm rambling here, but for Black Widow, pulling the breakdown out of Brian was a huge win. Because originally it was just like a thrash riff, and he was like, "Nah, man, we gotta bring out that breakdown." And then we added another breakdown, and then vocally, I know he amped her up, to level 10. Tried to pull every trick, everything we can, just to push this into that track as much as possible.
What's the growth musical you've seen from yourselves working on this EP that impresses you the most versus the debut album Bulletproof? Is there anything that you've seen in yourselves that's gotten better or got pulled out? You're like, wow, I didn't know that was even there.
Definitely, and a lot of people have commented on this, like my vocal range. Like going from Bulletproof, it was very gritty, very grungy, which is like my style and my influences. But coming to like this EP, you still hear it like in Black Widow, that grunge, but then in like Revenant or Death by the Sea, my vocal range just peaks. And I know like practicing, years of practice and choir and vocal lessons brought that out. And even Justin just like sitting there and like, you know, like believe in yourself, you know you got it, you know it's there. Just take it one verse at a time, take it one line at a time. And it's just astonishing because I started being a vocalist at 14. I wanted to be a vocalist. And like looking back on that to now, it's just all of us, we have just improved by leaps and bounds. We've just honed our craft, and it feels great. You feel like you can live amongst the legends and even like inspire the younger generation. Like work, you can do it. You got this. You know, even if you start out and it doesn't sound good, keep practicing. You will get there.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And put stuff out there. It's like the stuff you put out there first is not going to be good. It's like just put stuff out there and get better at it. You know, work on yourself and don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, I'm a little upset we waited this long to work with someone like Justin, because that was the first time we worked with someone out of house.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that was like really well needed. I mean, it was almost like taking like a course, you know, of like songwriting and production and like writing essentially. And it's like I'm upset we waited this long, but you know, stuff happens. You got to just kind of adapt, you know.
Yeah.
I know the term fail because compared to when I first started and now doing my interviews, it's night and day. So night and day. I cringe sometimes when I go back and listen to some of them. I'm like, oh God. I sound like Chris Farley trying to interview, what's his name, from the Beatles. Good God.
Oh my gosh.
I sound like, I do. I sound like Chris Farley interviewing Paul McCartney. And I had some big ones during my time. I was like, how did they even stay in that interview with me that long? Mighty. Horrible. But like you said, you got to fail. You got to learn. You got to find your niche, your groove. And then you don't care who you interview. It does not matter the biggest star. I don't care. They're the same to me now.
Yeah.
What's been your most memorable show that Bullet to the Heart has been a part of that you still cannot believe that this band was a part of? If you've had that moment yet.
Had that moment. And that moment, I actually have on a pillow here I gave to Draven.
Oh, pull it up.
I gave to Draven as a gift. We headlined House of Blues Chicago.
For our album release?
Oh, nice.
February 21st, whoops, 2019.
Yeah.
I made this for him. That was absolutely surreal because we had played House of Blues before, but to actually like headline House of Blues Chicago.
Yeah, that was like a dream come true.
To 300 to 400 people was absolutely insane. I never in a million years thought like we could do something like that, and just to stand on that stage and people just like screaming at you because they're just so excited for you to be there. I lost it.
Yeah, I mean the curtain opened.
The curtain opened and we felt like we were like big rock stars. Everybody was just screaming at us, just like ready for us to play.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we actually took this project seriously.
Oh yeah,
it was like we all looked at each other and we're like, oh, we could probably do this, like if we work at it, you know, like because we were just playing locally, very light regional stuff. This was the first time we're like, we just brought all these people to House of Blues. Maybe we could do this like in the world, you know. Later that year, we started touring for the first time.
Yeah.
So when that happened, though, did that take you by surprise? And I know you said it was surreal, but did that bring everything back to where you started from as a kid, to have those dreams, to like have everything right then and there? It all made sense. It all was happening. This was coming true.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of weird stuff that happened in this band. Yeah. And I feel like it all led up to that moment. I mean, there's a lot of weird, like even like Tom joining the band, like he got dumped by his girlfriend. He had some other personal issues, and he went to that show to see us with Brian, not knowing months later he would join that band.
Oh, how crazy.
You know, like
crazy.
Everything just kind of happened all at once because like he was like, oh, my girlfriend left me. I'm depressed. I'm angry. I want to go to a metal show. And he went to go see his buddy Brian, and they ended up staying for us later. We headlined, and they were like, oh, wow, they're really good. And, you know, it's just everything kind of happened in a weird way. Everything like just kind of happened. And it's like if you let it happen, something's pushing you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw out Bullet to the Heart. We're going to throw the band out for this just specifically for you two, okay? If you could be a member of an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, which band would it be and what show?
Wow.
That's a good question.
That's a solid question.
And you could be any member in that band. I don't care if it's the Lee Greenwood band. I do not care. Any era, whatever.
Honestly, Jesus, off the top of my head, I would have loved to have been the lead singer of Pearl Jam in the 90s when he was playing when anybody was playing those shows and he was hanging from the rafters and being an idiot. I would have loved to have been at any one of those shows and just hanging from the rafters and singing Pearl Jam.
That's a solid one.
What about you? I mean, I can kind of guess.
Yeah, I'd probably say the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold.
I knew it.
So, I wanted to play guitar for a long time, and it took seeing the Rev live for me to be like, oh, that's clearly the coolest guy in the band is the drummer, but also like his vocal range, his writing ability, his musicianship. I feel like that's kind of like what I'm after, so I'd love to experience that and see it from his point of view.
You know, I love Pearl Jam, but I also like making fun of him. Yeah, ding dong.
Oh yeah, he's yeah. I went to a Pearl Jam. Like I love Pearl Jam, but I went to a Pearl Jam show. My first experience was they were playing, and he was like, "I'm gonna play this obscure album, and F you, I'm Eddie Vedder."
Wow.
Like, oh, thanks, man. I love you too.
Definitely not full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have walked out.
Yeah, I wanted to, but you know,
I would just made fun of him.
The crowd booed him.
Oh, that's good.
Booed him. So.
Did the concert last long?
No.
I figured that.
He got full of himself. It's like, well, I'm done, and it's like, well, nobody wanted to hear that. So. Yeah.
You know, I get it. I know. I get it that musicians come to that point sometimes. If you're burnt out, don't take it out on your fans that paid money to see your freaking ass. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, especially, Pearl Jam's prices. And then I went and got a T-shirt for like $60, and there was a lightning bolt and then this many words on the back. So I was like, oh, man. Thanks.
You could have created your own and made your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. All right, Audrey and Draven, how can folks stay in touch with you? Buy this new EP, these new singles, anything and everything under the name of Bullet to the Heart. How can they do that?
So exactly what you said. Anywhere you could type in Bullet to the Heart, we're on it. So Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reverb Nation. Anywhere you could have a search bar, look up Bullet to the Heart. You'll find us on there.
Yeah, and you'll find on Facebook, you'll find our link tree, which will take you to anywhere you need to go, and our big cartel where you can buy merch.
Yeah, we have a lot of redundancy. Everything has links to everywhere else. So just find one, and we'll see you there. You'll find them all.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Audrey Queen, a.k.a. the Queen of Darkness, lead singer from Bullet to the Heart, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody, please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link, and you definitely want to subscribe to the YouTube link if you like what I'm doing, and I hope you guys and gals do. Also, check out Bullet to the Heart. Pick up their new EP, Death, Oddities, and Romance, available now on all streaming services, and the new singles, Black Widow and Revenant. Please give this band a fair shot, and I wish you all nothing but the best of luck, and thanks for doing the interview with me.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, man.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram